You know, almost all of today's scopes are variable power. Like these two here, this is a Trijicon 10 mile. This is an extreme scope. It's a 4.5 by 30 by 56. I mean, you can dial this thing in like it's a spotting scope. This is an AccuPoint 2.5 by 12 by 42, much more compact, and it goes down to 2.5 power. I get asked a lot, what is the best setting in a hunting situation to have your scope on with a variable power? Well, that's really a loaded question because it depends solely on what you're hunting and what situation you're in. I mean, if I'm hunting Cape buffalo in the thick stuff and I've got this 2.5 by 12.5, I'm gonna go around with it on 2.5 all the time. If I see a buffalo out there at 80 yards and I wanna zoom in, all I have to do is turn my dial. But if I'm in the thick stuff, I want it with the biggest field of view, and I'm gonna keep it down as low as I can. Now, if I was hunting whitetails in a deer stand where I thought that I could, most of my shots were gonna be 100 to 200 yards, I might sit up in the tree with my scope on 6 power. And if I saw a deer out there at 200 or 300 yards and I wanted to crank up to 12 or 15 power, usually with an animal at 200 or 300 yards, you've got a little time to do that. Same thing goes with like this long range setup. If I was on an ibex or a sheep hunt somewhere, I'm probably going to go around with this baby on like 9 power because I don't expect to get any shots super close. Most of those shots are going to be 300 to 500 yards. You get to lay down, get your bipod out, and you get to take your time, and then you can decide, do I want this on 9? Do I want to crank it up to 30? Also, you got to think about light. The higher power you are on, the lower the light that gets sucked into that scope. So you got to take that into consideration as well, but that's why we have variable scopes, is so you can change with your conditions. If we said we're always going to be 2.5, or we're always going to be 9, or we're always going to be 25, we just have fixed powered scopes. But that's why we have a dial right here that we can turn, and in 2 seconds we can be from 2.5 to 12.5, or from 4.5 to 30. So these are very versatile tools, and you just have to use them as your situation dictates.